how can these both be saying the same thing?
Mm.
How can the stories from other religions, that we're on the back of a turtle, and it's swimming through the sea of eternity. Okay, well, what's the turtle on? Oh, well, another turtle. And what's all that on? Well, it's turtles all the way down. So somehow there's oneness that's coming up in all of this. If you go with the Big Bang, 14.2 billion years, and it took an awfully long time for it to cool down enough for there to be hydrogen, okay, one element. And then that needed to collapse and condense to the point where it could fuse into helium. Now, hydrogen and helium is not really a happy dance. It takes a long time to get anything that's going to be, remotely seeming like a place to live. And that same timeline, as you say, the last 6 seconds of the evolutionary calendar is human life. And we have scripture that's saying this is all, God said, let there be light, and there's light. And then, 6 days later, there's everything is created, and that was all 6,000 years ago. And I don't look at that and say one story is true and one story is false. It's like, how can these both be saying the same thing?
Mm.
How can the stories from other religions, that we're on the back of a turtle, and it's swimming through the sea of eternity. Okay, well, what's the turtle on? Oh, well, another turtle. And what's all that on? Well, it's turtles all the way down. So somehow there's oneness that's coming up in all of this.
Mm.
And I look for the commonality in the stories. And somebody doesn't need to be wrong in order for me to be right.
Yeah.
In the same way that I don't need to be wrong in order for them to be right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful, especially coming from a Catholic upbringing for me anyhow, like where I have kind of gone the other way, where I really don't like using the word God. I don't really focus on the Bible or Jesus or that kind of stuff. Um, and that's a part of my healing path, but not to make others wrong for that. That how does all of this coexist? How do we have just this unique understanding? And when we look at like how stories are told, like it's only recently that stories are written down. It used to be the oral tradition. So of course they're going to be varying stories. Of course they're going to be all over the map. How can we see that it's all true and that we all get to have our own unique experience and perspective in it?
Yeah, and the advantage that we have going into this is that we don't have a horse in the race saying that we need to have somebody else be wrong in order for us to be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the entertaining games that I like to play, and it's not one that you can win, so you better have fun playing it, is baiting the fundamentalists.
Okay. All right.
So you get into the kind. There's a whole bunch of entry points for it. And some of the really good ones are the things that Jesus actually said in the New Testament. And you can buy a red letter Bible where everything that Jesus said is in red. So you just pick those parts. So, and one of the questions that you can ask very sincerely is, so every word in the Bible is truth? Yes. Okay. And we know that because it's the Bible. Yes. Okay. Is there anybody who's like telling a story that's not really true so that you can kind of get the message? No, it's all literal word of truth. Okay, well, how about where Jesus said, they said, why do you tell stories? Why do you speak in parables? He says, because if I speak the truth, they don't understand. I have to speak in parables.
Mm.
So he said it's not all true.
Yeah.
And the fun part is watching how the pushback shows up. Because they're not going to go along with it.
Mm.
But it's fun to see what the response is. And, growing up Catholic, there's a lot of triggering that you had. The Catholic Church likes people to believe what they say to believe.
Yeah.
And the answer, I was in a pretty progressive Protestant denomination. And 2 weeks before my confirmation, I told my parents, I can't do this. I can't go stand in front of the congregation and say that I believe this. And they said, well, what don't you believe? And I was 12. And the big one that I didn't believe is that Jesus was the only Son of God. I also had some questions because I was a 12-year-old boy about, the virgin birth. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah. How does that happen?
Yeah. How does that happen? And so I stopped participating in that. And I had a huge allergy to the term God because it brought up for me that same deity big guy in the sky with the excessive facial hair pointing down, judging.
Yeah.
And I wanted nothing to do with that because I had this inherent belief, no words for it at that point, that it's all love and that it's all love unfolding somehow. And even when things were really crappy, I knew that somehow love was unfolding. And it took a long time to get to the New Thought teaching. And I mean, I walked in the first New Thought church. It's like these people believe what I believe, and they teach classes about it, and they have songs. And wow, what this is home,
Yeah.
and that was wonderful. And I've gone through this evolution where I now understand that there is one infinite creative power, one love, one source that has been creating since the beginning of time. It is the one that responded when the infinite exploded or expanded or said, "Let there be light." That is all one. Everything is that one divine creative essence. It is infinite love. It is limitless intelligence. It is this divine power, and it is the sum total of everything that exists. And that's a really long sentence or a short paragraph, and you can shorthand it with the word God.
Yeah.
So as long as I've gotten myself, I've desensitized myself.
Mm.
I've gone through God allergy treatment. So I can use the term God, knowing that that's what I mean, and it's not the guy up in the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel being judgmental.
Eamon here. I hope you're enjoying the video. You know, being a man these days is tough. We feel the pressure from relationships, from our friends, other men, from society, and even from ourselves. It can be lonely and we can feel isolated. I know I have. 15% of men in America have no close friends, and 73% have 5 or fewer friends. How many men do you talk with regularly about the most important things in your life? Well, we have a free video and a PDF on how to create deeper conversations and friendships with the men in your life. To get this video, click the link in the description. Also, please like this video and subscribe. It helps us reach more people with uplifting content like this. Thank you.